Hey there, and welcome to exercise number 92. If you want to solve this one on your own, then click on the link in the description. If not, keep watching and we're going to solve it together. In this one, we need to write a function named withCount that will be used to extend the function prototype. Now, this function will return a new function that will have the same signature and functionality as the original one. And in this case, the original one means the function on which we're calling this withCount, right? Because withCount is on the function prototype. So it will return a function with the same functionality and the same signature, but it will also keep track of the number of times it was called via a count property. Below we have an example. So I'm going to take the withCount function and I'm going to assign it to the function prototype. Then I have a simple function called sum that adds two numbers. And then I'm going to create a new function called sumWithCount by calling withCount on the sum function. And again, we can do that because we put it on the function prototype. Below, we're going to call sumWithCount with parameters 1 and 2, and another one with 3 and 4. And then I'm going to console log sumWithCount.count. And again, the description says we need to keep track of how many times we invoke this function via a count property. So I'm going to console log this and it should print 2. Next, I'm going to call it with 5 and 6, and then I'm going to console log the count again, and this time it should be 3. So no matter how many times we keep calling this function, we're going to keep track of that number in count, and we can see, well, we've called it 2 times, 3 times for now, and so on and so on. Now that we've read the description, let's go here into the right side and start solving it. Now, before we implement the counting, let's actually do the first part. We need to return a new function that will have the same signature and functionality. So let's just create here const function withCount. Let's do it like that. It's going to be a function that's going to have, sorry, I had a different language. That's going to have some parameters. So we're going to do REST syntax here. And this one is actually going to call the original function, right? By passing those params. Now, where do we take the original function from? Well, that function is actually this, because we're on the function prototype. So I'm going to do this of params. And also don't forget to return function withCount. Return. So now our withCount function, if we assign it on the function prototype, will just return a new function with the same functionality as the original one. So let me just do this, right? Copy those 3 lines here. And let's just do console log sumWithCount of 1 and 3, and we should get 4. We should get 4, but we don't get 4 because, oh, I forgot to do the return here. Yeah, so we need to return the same thing. Okay, 4. Now let's do 11 and 31, and we should get 42. Okay, that's great. So again, this is going to be the function we're calling withCount on, because we're assigning on a prototype and because I'm doing here an arrow function, and we're going to do the REST syntax here to get all parameters, and then we're going to spread them. Now we've done this, but we still need to count. So let's add this count property. So I'm going to say function withCount.count ++. And don't forget to initialize it. Function withCount.count is equal with 0. So yeah, we can add a property on functions. Like functions are kind of objects in a sense, because you can have properties on them, they have a prototype, stuff like that. So we add this property on our function. Initially it's 0. Every time we call it, we're going to increment it. And now let's test our code. So I'm going to do console log sumWithCount.count, and we should get 2. Okay, now let me just call it 2 more times below. And we get, okay, this is our 2. Let's say here count so we can see it. And then I'm going to do it again. And we should get 4. So count 2 and then count 4, which looks good. Now let's test our solution. And voila, it works. Cheers and see you in the next one.